there's no boundary at all. So if there's no boundary, if there's no limit, then how do I identify myself? I don't need to identify myself. But when we're caught in the ego, we have to find a way to identify ourselves, because we're a little tiny thing in this vast world of moving. So we're a little thing, and there's a whole universe of other things around us, and we're trying to have a sense of security through things. So we attach to things that we feel will give us a sense of security, and so status, for example, monetary wealth, different levels of prestige, we think will give us some kind of staying power on a survival level. If we have these things, we can feel comfortable on a survival level. But what we're talking about is beyond what we call beyond survival to thrival, right? So it's survival is not. We're not operating on that fear-based level anymore. It's not a question. We're operating out of the fear-based consciousness into the love consciousness. So fear-based consciousness is from the consciousness that I'm speaking about, where it comes from a consciousness of separation, of different parts, and everything is separate, and it's a dog-eat-dog world, and you have to get yours before somebody else gets theirs. So when we start to see the truth, beyond separation, we start to move and beyond these illusionary boundaries, then we move into the love consciousness. And love consciousness is that there is no separation, there's one. There's only one, and we are that one. So we call non-duality. Non-duality means not two. So if there's not two, there's only one. But see, now even if I say one, there's one, then we say, well, where's the one, right? So actually, even me saying that is too much. It's just, right? It's just, that's all. Like me and my son, when we used to go for a walk, this kid's like pretty enlightened, and a lot of kids are, but we don't recognize it. So we had a big conversation about this. You know, he was like, I guess maybe seven or 6, and it came to a point where we couldn't find a name for God, because every name was not it. So we would just go like this, and we would talk about God. We just go, because that's all we could do. And the point is that anything in words, or any kind of movement, of any kind of directionality of words, or even gestures, it's pointing in a direction, which is great, except that if you're pointing in a direction, that means you're not including this direction. So I'm pointing in this direction, I'm not including this direction, but we're talking about something that's all-inclusive and is what we call the absolute. So it's always the case and never not the case. Always right now and never not right now. So we're talking about stepping into this consciousness, and this consciousness is a whole other dimension, reality of living. And when you step into it, and when you start to embody it and get a feel for it, then you realize that this is what we've been looking for all along. And we've been chasing different abstractions. We've been chasing, this thing and that thing, and all these things that we view as external. So there's the internal and there's the external, and we're trying to chase different external abstractions to feel whole. But these things will never make us feel whole. And the reason they'll never make us feel whole is because the problem is not getting these things. The problem is that we don't think we're whole. The problem is that we've created this illusionary ego that needs to feel whole. So the way to actually address the situation is not by getting any kind of a thing that will fulfill the ego. The way is to become aware that this whole game is a waste of time. And it's like you're in a room, and you're trying to open each of the, you're trying to open every drawer to find what's going to fulfill you in the room. And then there's a certain point when you wake up and you just walk out. You walk out the door, walk out of the room, and then you're free. It's like moving out into like the vast expanse of being free, and there was never anything you had to find to begin with. There was never anything outside of ourselves, and there never will be anything outside of ourselves.